Okay, so we're partly through F1 launch season. I'm partly through what's now developed into an actual cold on top of a sore throat. And let's just talk a bit about it because everyone goes through these cars with fine comb. So realistically, this is just livery launch, not proper car launch season. And yeah, what do I want to talk about in particular with it? What I want to talk about is an article I've seen on the race by Mark Hughes, which is why F1 teams are obsessed with dull liveries. And part of it looks at the fact that these cars supposedly can save 300 of a second if you take off some paint. And also to do with how things like the exhaust are shaped. But to be honest, I don't think it's necessarily just that. Like, it's not necessarily that the dull livery is just because of the carbon fibre. Because I would argue that's not necessarily the reason why it's dull liveries. The reason why, to me, is because of the fact that, well, F1 is so marketized now, it is so corporate, that for these teams, their liveries are part of their identity. At least that would be my argument. So, if I, for example, and you might be able to hear me typing this up, looked up the grid of F1 cars for the last few seasons, what have been the big changes? Arguably, the biggest change has been Haas changing tyre again. You could probably potentially say Alpha Era Sauber changed around quite a bit. Though I would say the starkest one is Merc, who changed from their silver arrows to black for 2020, kept for 21, went back to the silver for 22, went back to the black for 2023, now with some carbon. And, you know, I think when Lewis goes to Ferrari, I think we'll see it go back to the kind of silver again. Because by the sounds of things, part of his deal to Ferrari was because Mercedes, or either Mercedes weren't as ready to commit to the kind of equality and diversity initiatives that Lewis wants to fund, or Ferrari was more willing to. But yeah, Williams has stayed largely similar the past few years. Alpine, especially since they picked up the BWT sponsorship, has stayed quite similar. The other big changes I can think of in recent years, I know Haas transformed quite a bit depending on which sponsor they've got, would be McLaren when they went to the Papaya, which was after having had another big change in 17 and another change in 16 and 15. These supposedly quite bland schemes are part of a team's identity. I don't know what the solution is, because even if we did have full paint on every inch of an F1 car, these cars would broadly fit into the same kind of style, because that's how they have to sell themselves to sponsors. You're not going to get a HRT, your name here kind of thing. You won't get that in the 2020s. Because every part of the car has got to be used for something. If it's not for sponsorship, then it's for a slight little bit of design that separates one sponsorship from another sponsorship. And it's a shame that F1's in that space, but that's why the cost cap is up in the hundreds of millions rather than, what was it, around 80 million when it was first proposed back in the late noughties during the financial crash. It's a shame, because we don't get to see, you know, like how Toyota completely overhauled its entire brand image in this off-season, and how it had done that also a couple of years before, but kept the red and white kind of schemes. but I don't know. I think we're so close to hitting the right point when it comes to the supposedly dull F1 car liveries. But I think we're just missing it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, though. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.